Hello, leader. I'll get right to the point. Do you hear yourself making excuses for why your business isn't as successful as you'd like it to be? Are you blaming everything from celebrity culture to politics to the weather on your team troubles? Well, today, the buck stops here, and I'm holding you accountable to own up to what's really happening in your small business. So if you're ready to put your big girl pants on and face your challenges head on, keep listening. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. Thanks for tuning in and following your curiosity to learn and honor your personal conviction to be the best leader you can be. On this podcast, you won't hear a bunch of theories presented by academics who haven't been in a workplace in years or ever, and you'll not hear from executives who are flush with capital, people, and pool tables in their cafeteria telling you how to build team culture. Nope. Why? Because you are a small business owner and you've built something great out of nothing. And through it all, you've learned that you need a team, but not just any team. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation for decades, not-for-profit boards, and in online business, and helped many remote teams win at work. And I can tell you that no one escapes team troubles, including me. These days, I'm the CEO of Stacking Your Team, where I teach and develop tools for small business owners so they can attract, retain, and develop their teams so the founder can step out of her day-to-day operation. I'm so happy you're here because we all know that the people side of running your business is often the most difficult, and the team that got you here may not be the team that gets you there. So come on, let's jump in to today's episode. You've likely been there, feeling frustrated that your business didn't hit a revenue goal. A client didn't renew, a particular project came in way over budget, or your latest new hire just quit. Or you missed renewing your snowplow contract, so the first storm hit your business really hard. It happens. You've got lots going on, and when things don't go your way, it can be really easy to blame everything on everyone but yourself. When things are busy on the home front, it only makes things worse. Oh, now I get it. Small business is personal. Every decision, every job offer, every new client, every milestone, and every mishap, and those darn expenses, it's all so personal. Because of this, it's normal to take criticism or setbacks as a direct reflection on your abilities. And after stewing over disappointments and challenges for a while, it can feel easy to deflect blame onto your team as a way to protect your ego. It happens. And yes, there certainly may be some truth in this with specific team members who are not meeting expectations. However, is the whole team to blame? No. So let's have a look at these 3 realities of life in a leadership role and uncover what's really causing all of your disappointments so that you can stop with the BS excuses and start leading your team to greatness. And before I go any further on today's episode, I want to encourage you to hang in here with me. Some of this might make you feel uncomfortable, but I know you can do hard things. Let's start with the obvious. If you've set unrealistic expectations regarding the performance of your team, it can lead to disappointment, frustration, and blaming. If the goals you put forward to your team are felt to be unattainable or fail to provide the necessary resources or timing, it can contribute to a blame culture. Not only can you find yourself blaming your team, but you can overhear your team blaming each other or even clients and you. None of this is helpful. It's only making things worse, and people are losing trust for one another, possibly you too. The excuses that you might find yourself saying are things like, I don't have the right team, or my team doesn't bring me any good ideas, or My team just isn't willing to work hard enough to achieve our goals. But have you considered this? How do you respond when your team offers suggestions and ideas? Do you cringe? Do you brush off their point of view? Or do you stop, listen, and ask for even more detail? You know, it only takes a few disappointing experiences when a team member shares their ideas that are then squashed to end their confidence to share any ideas at all with you. Instead, they'll wait for you to tell them what to do. So they execute your ideas. And if the idea falls flat, it's not their fault. Again, the blame game is alive and well in this situation. Now, believing that your team just won't work hard enough to reach the goals you've set forward could be a skewed notion when in reality, your direction is vague and they're guessing, albeit not always successfully, about what you really want as the outcome or how you want the task executed. Other times, your direction keeps changing because you're not confident of the plan yourself, and that's spilling over into what you're asking your team to deliver on. They start, you ask them to stop. You tell them to shift. They do so reluctantly, waiting for you to change your mind and their work plan again. Yikes! None of this is the workplace environment that you dreamed of when you began your business. The second obvious excuse that lays blame and keeps your business stuck is the sheer high levels of stress and pressure to keep your doors open and your team employed. Now, this is very real. And if you are an inexperienced or ineffective leader because you might not possess the necessary skills to address challenges or conflicts, either within the team or with clients, in a constructive way, blaming the team might be your default response. You might tell your friends and family that your team needs too much hand-holding, they can't think for themselves, or the business simply needs your deep oversight every day. But have you considered this? Have you built a team structure that drives ownership deep into your team with accountability and measures that includes ways to coach your team to improve and stay on track? No? It's all so unfortunate when the business owner doesn't ask for help or know how to get help. So she keeps throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. My clients hail drumbeats and the 5R work plan as their holy grail for accountability, and they describe their businesses as before I had those tools and after I had those tools and more. It's made that much of a difference in how their teams perform. They needed help. They asked for help, and they got the help they needed to set up their team to truly know what they're getting paid to do and then step up to own the results and responsibility areas. You see, it was the shift in stopping the need to handhold her team members that led her to be able to step out of her daily operations. Leadership skills and strategies can be taught, and you can master them. The stress and pressure of being a business owner can be eased when you have a solid team of people that are there to help you make decisions and grow the business. When you can lighten the load and share the weight of creating strategies to stay out front of your clients and customers, you can then find your mojo again and actually start sleeping better. The next common excuse that lays blame on your team instead of looking deeply at what part of the outcome you own is declaring that you feel overwhelmed, disorganized, and uncertain about what to do next. As a small business owner, you can find yourself going through cycles where you're suffering from these feelings a few times a year, maybe even more. Sometimes it's the fear of the unknown, worry about what could be coming around the corner in your marketplace or your niche that can be masked as overwhelm and being disorganized. This happens because you're spending time doing comfortable tasks and activities instead of facing the uncomfortable tasks of strategizing, improving your operations and your team structure, and hosting those tough conversations with your underperforming team members. But it's time to start taking ownership of your leadership responsibilities And the best way to do this is to stop brushing these aside and instead start blocking quality time to think, plan, and strategize. And then collaborate with your team to put together action plans to get organized and share the responsibilities to work on your priorities and ask your team to help bring your strategic plan to life. My clients have moments when they are definitely feeling worn out, and turning to their trusted peer group for insight can create so much more calm and confidence instead of worry and dread. Coming together a few times a year in person at our retreats also helps to deepen their relationships even further. It's priceless, really, and they can help jar their peers out of being stuck and act as a sounding board for action plans and next steps. Having trusted people surround you that are at the same level or a few levels ahead can amplify your efforts as they share their experiences, saving you valuable time and even tears. If you're ready to evolve and let go of the BS and instead start doing things differently to lead your team so they can thrive, let's work together to find practical solutions and overcome challenges rather than dwelling on those excuses. After all, your success is your team's success, and it all depends on how well you make accountability normal for anyone on your team, regardless of their role. Your long-term success will also be built upon your ability to clearly communicate with everyone on your team, regardless of their role, their location, or how new they are, because everyone deserves to know what they're getting paid to do, why it's important, and where are you all headed. And finally, the future of your business is dependent on your commitment to excellence, and the proof is in whether or not you hire right, and if you can inspire your team to rally around what excellence really means in your workplace. That takes a bit of work to define. Then you've got to roll it out, reinforce it, and then reward people who are actually living it and coaching others to do it too. Here's some work that falls in your responsibility as a leader. Deciding that excuses don't cut it in your team culture is a great way to shift everyone forward and into taking action, informed action, to resolve problems, streamline your processes and systems, and encourage collaboration right across your team. These are proven foundational leadership strategies that successful businesses of all sizes and shapes are built upon. So let's take a second to reflect on this. Excuses are for people who refuse to take control of their actions and responsibilities. Yeah, that was heavy, but truthful. Instead of relying on excuses, let's focus on finding solutions, learning from our mistakes, and helping our team members grow as individuals and as a collective and capable team. It's what your high performers on your team want too. So as we close out today, let's recap what you just learned here on the podcast about stopping with those comfortable BS excuses that we tell ourselves when we're not happy with our results in the business, and instead start taking ownership of our leadership skills, growing capabilities, and leadership strategies. Here is a recap of those 3 very common excuses that small business owners wear like a badge of honor, and the team feels the brunt of it. The first story you can tell yourself and others is that I don't have the right team, or my team doesn't bring me any good ideas, or my team just isn't willing to work hard enough to achieve our goals. And the second common story I hear a lot is due to the stress and pressure to keep your doors open and your team employed, so you can say and then believe things like this. My team needs too much hand-holding. They cannot think for themselves. And my business, well, I need to be in it deeply every day. And the third common excuse and the backstory that you can tell often is that you're feeling overwhelmed, disorganized, and uncertain about what to do next. But if you're ready to evolve and let go of the BS and instead start doing things differently to lead your team so that they can thrive, let's work together to find practical solutions and overcome challenges rather than dwelling on those darn excuses. You can join either of the Leadership Lab small group coaching programs right now. No need to wait or risk getting further and further deep in the muck and stuck in excuses only to make it harder and harder to turn it all around. Don't wait any longer. You want help. Ask for it. Get the help you need and see how dramatically different you will feel as you lead your team with tools, coaching, and frameworks that are all designed for small business owners and their teams to excel. Visit the website, stackingyourteam.com, and see that I don't just coach you, I teach you. And yes, it's really me who steps into your business to help streamline your efforts so it's easier for you to be ready for more growth. Have you subscribed to the podcast yet? Why not? It makes it super easy for you, as every Tuesday, a new episode will magically appear in your player for you. And spoiler alert, next week's episode might ruffle some feathers like this one did, but it's a regular hot topic inside the Leadership Lab. I'm titling that episode, What Young Professionals Get Wrong About Knowing Their Value. I hope you'll tune into that one if you're having some challenges leading your newer to the workplace team members. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.